when I first put out the domino theory, I thought that they could just ram everything through at one time. I think there's too much risk with that. And that's why we've seen kind of the slow rollout of everything that we've seen. So we saw, the stablecoin bill get across the line last year, the Genius Act. People have had time to get accustomed to that and position themselves to be able to issue stablecoins and figure out what that's going to look like. You had the ETFs roll out and eat supply off the market to be able to dwindle it down. You haven't seen the BlackRock ETF yet, which I do believe is coming. And it will be timed very appropriately in order to be able to drive the price to where it needs to go. But, again, it's been a progression of things. And for these amendments to be coming out right now, I don't know if it's going to be okay. We get it across the line, we give it a couple weeks and make sure it's kosher, maybe a little bit longer than that. Do we need to push any fixes? Make sure this works right before we actually start pushing volumes of money through it. XRP's price is going to have to be substantially higher before they can actually start transacting value on the network and routing it through XRP. You can settle with other things on the network. Whatever the most liquid thing is what the DEX is going to use to be able to settle that value. Obviously, that's more efficient. The more liquidity that XRP has, it's the native asset on chain. And so, through supply and demand dynamics, they're going to have to push it to a high price if they're really going to want to use it at scale, which is what Monica Long said on Community Day. Just last week, she said that, when she was asked, where does she see the XRPL and XRP here in 2026? She said, the words that come to mind are institutional adoption at scale. So for that to happen at scale, XRP has to be a high price, has to be a high stable price. And then you had a kind of a follow-on from David Schwartz later in the evening, where he talked about the volatility of the asset and why institutions don't really want to hold that on their balance sheet. It needs to be a high, stable price before these institutions are really going to adopt this. And again, I believe that that's going to happen from, the supply and demand dynamics that are going to push it there, and then payments starting to move over the network to be able to hold price stability at that much higher level.